Okay, you're on.
Hey everybody, sorry for the technical difficulties. This is Sapa Speaks, the voice of the Southern Alberta Pagan Association. We are coming to you live from Jess FM, and we're also on Jess TV as well as jessfm.ca. You can find more shows on Facebook as well as YouTube. And they have a really big, nice lineup. Joining me tonight, is a lady who really doesn't need any introduction, but I'm going to do it again anyway.
No, keep talking. I'm still doing the technical stuff over here.
Oh, she's still doing technical stuff. So I forgot to introduce myself this time. For those who don't know me, my name is Becca. I am a board member of SAPA, and the lady beside me is good to go.
Yeah.
This is Miss Liv.
Hi there.
Who is a co-founder of the Southern Alberta Pagan Association.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So we do encourage everybody to join us on the Jess FM page. This is an interactive video podcast stream. So, drop your comments, drop your questions. Just say a quick hi. We'll do a shout out. We will be watching the comments. If we miss one of your comments, we do apologize, and we will get to it as soon as we can. We're going to try and keep a lot of the comments to the end of the show, and just kind of do a quick once over near the end of the show, just so that we're not stopping our stream to constantly be checking our phones. However, I do see that Anna is joining us. So hi, Anna. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Okay. So I can see questions too.
Yeah. So
it's actually working this week. I got the technical difficulties from last week all sorted. So tonight, we're talking about spirit animals.
Before we start that, though, I do think that for those who live under a rock, which, lately most of us are, I do kind of want to do an acknowledgement on the Minneapolis tragedy, George Floyd. And I'm not going to go into details because we don't want to. We don't have the time. You should know the details. If not, I know that Jess FM has been posting a lot of updates on that. But I do want to acknowledge the tragedy that is happening down south. Our sympathies and our condolences to the families. And for anybody who might be feeling unsafe or scared, this is a safe space for you. Reach out to us. You don't have to necessarily be a pagan to be a part of our community. We are here to serve everybody. So I did want to just kind of start off with that acknowledgement because it's heartbreaking. My feed is full of it, and it's difficult. It's difficult to be on Facebook right now, seeing all of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was kind of crazy reading that story this morning. It's like, yeah. So,
moving right along.
Spirit animals.
Yeah.
So, this is something you've been kind of researching recently, hasn't it?
It is something that I have been researching more in depthly recently. Spirit animals is something that I've always kind of felt an affinity towards, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've got that Indigenous culture. There's a lot, and while I might not necessarily have been raised within my heritage and within my culture, there's things to me that feel so inherently, it speaks to me.
It feels right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the shoe that fits properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ever since I was a teenager, I had that connection to spirit animals. My first deck, my oracle deck, was Stephen Farmer's Power Animals.
Okay.
And it was just kind of something that I kind of dabbled in, but as a teenager, I didn't really seriously start researching it. That cough threw me off.
Sorry. It's allergies, guys. There's lots of pollen going around right now.
Until just recently, and I've started seriously looking into animals and how to work with animals.
Yeah. You learn the things that you want to learn, and usually you go into depth when you're ready. So maybe as a teenager you weren't ready to dive off the high dive. Just getting tipping your toe in the kiddie pool. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, for those who aren't familiar with the term, what is a spirit animal?
You can't answer that in a nutshell.
Okay, so I was hoping, but
A spirit animal depends on who you talk to. And I hate that answer, but it's the one that I always fall back on, because it really does depend on who you're talking to. For a lot of people, particularly those that are in the Indigenous culture, you hear spirit animal, and it's that one family clan animal that you don't get to choose. That's your family animal. But if you talk to other people, like social media, Jason Momoa is my spirit animal sort of thing, right? And I mean, I won't go there.
It's all good. I think it might be mine too.
But you can't answer that in a nutshell, because there's different classifications too. Like, you've got your totem animal, and for some people those are synonymous. You've got your power animal, you've got your spirit guides, you've got your familiars, and I mean, a lot of people, especially those people who are just starting to learn, they start using these terminologies synonymously, and then they start becoming adopted within the community as synonyms.
And they're not fully interchangeable.
Not necessarily,
no.
no.
We were talking last week with Leif about familiars, and I mean, I have familiars.
Yes.
But I am not an expert on explaining all that is the spirit animal.
Right.
And I know there's various traditions, and like you said, it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as a disclaimer, we're going to be talking, when I speak about spirit animals and totem animals and power animals, these are my beliefs. I don't expect anybody to accept these as fact, as truth. If you want to learn more, I'm happy to have conversations. But if what I'm saying you don't agree with, let me know. And let me know why you don't agree with it, because, this is how we learn from each other, is by having these dialogues and the discourse about, our different beliefs. But yeah, going back to familiars, and it seemed to really kind of tie into what we were planning on talking about tonight. A lot of people will assume that their family pet is a familiar. And for myself, that's not necessarily the case.
And I have found that as well.
I've got 4 animals, 4 cats. Only one of them is a familiar. And it just happened to be that she was a cat. Familiar spirit guides are not always animals.
True.
They might come in the form of a spirit guide. They might come in kind of come to you in your dreams. They might, your intuition. It might be your familiar reaching out to you. But a familiar, essentially, and I think I had put that in the comments last week, it is a guide that has come to you through no choice or fault of your own, that is going to help you on your path, whatever that may be. And I mean, a lot of witches or cunning folk, as we were referred to in the 1300s, had familiars. But I think that pagans can also have familiars as they're learning their own path as well. And not all pagans are witches. So I do want to make that distinction. So common animals that you might see in familiar form might be cats or frogs or toads,
Dogs,
possibly even snakes.
Snakes, yeah.
Dogs.
Birds. I've seen birds.
But they're essentially there to help guide you on your path. Whereas a power animal or a spirit animal, their purpose is a little different.
Okay. Now, would a power animal be more of you kind of call on them when you need to call on their attributes? Like
Yes.
the lion for strength.
Yeah. That's in my research exactly what a power animal would be. Each animal has specific characteristics, and you can ask yourself different questions to figure out. Like, you don't necessarily need to have a nice little guidebook to tell you what. And in fact, you probably want to throw these guidebooks out, because it's your intuition that tells you what your guide is trying to tell you.
And maybe even asking around to those who have been working with spirit or power animals for some time.
Yeah. So some questions that you might want to ask your guide or your power animal is, what are the characteristics that they possess? Where do they inhabit? What kind of, are they pack animals? Are they solitary animals? Because things like that, what do they eat? Are they predators? Are they prey? all of those characteristics can guide you to the message that your spirit guide or your power at guide is trying to give you. So, for example, it was about a year ago now, and I was driving in my car, as you know you do when you're in a car.
That's what you do.
And I was on my Bluetooth speakerphone. I was talking to my partner, and we were going through a lot of really heavy relationship issues. For those who don't know, I have a polyamorous relationship dynamic, which means that we're open, we're free to see other people. And at this time, I was talking to him about one of his partners. A boundary of mine had been crossed, and I felt betrayed. I didn't like who he was seeing. And we were discussing our relationship. I was constantly busy and constantly out of the house. And as we're talking about our relationship, a fox darts out. I'm like in...
Like a real fox.
Like a fox. Darts out into the street, stops in the street, making me slam on my brakes, and then turns around and darts back to where it came from, which is not something I've ever seen a fox do. When it darts, it fucking goes.
Yeah.
And I had gone to one of my mentors, and I said, I don't understand. I'm reading, and it's not making sense. And she's like, throw this away. What does a fox mean to you? What were you doing when you were, when the fox came to you? And like, she really helped me listen to my intuition. So to me, a fox was cunning and clever and a trickster and almost a negative connotation. And given how I was feeling about the particular person we were speaking about, it made sense at that point. I'm like, this is a cunning, conniving little snitch that's trying to wedge her way into our relationship. I need to pump the brakes and kind of slow down and reflect. And that's one of the only times that a fox has ever come to me. So these guides, they're really good to kind of start your learning.
So give you a basic, general, something to leap off of.
But really, you want to listen to your intuition. You do. You know, for some people, a snake might be saying something different to another person, right? So, you know, don't rely on the guidebooks. Throw them away. Listen to your intuition.
That's fascinating. So, we kind of touched on this. Is a familiar a type of spirit animal? Would you consider it to be a type?
No.
No,
I think that a familiar can be a guide, and I think that it can be in animal form, but it doesn't necessarily need to, like, I don't think that a spirit animal, it's different categories.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know some people are probably wondering, but how do you find out your spirit guides? Like, do I need to go barreling down a road and yelling on the phone to my partner, or
I mean, that can help, obviously.
Or do I need to go for a nice long walk in the coulees, or like, how do I find my spirit animals?
The most accurate and efficient way that I have come across is a meditation. And everybody meditates differently. It doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, in a
Lotus position.
Yeah. You know, if you reach a state of mindfulness and of meditation walking down in the coulees, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That being said, I mean, if you're seriously seeking and throwing it out there, I want to know what my spirit animal is, please come to me. Absolutely go for a walk in the coulees, because where else are you going to find animals except in nature?
Right.
So meditation can work. And there are plenty of meditations that you can, guided meditations that can walk you through a vision, almost like a vision quest. Dreams are another really good aspect that you can kind of listen to. And then even just asking, you know, who's with me? Who's here to guide me? And then being open and receptive to those signs. And that can come in any form. It can come in dreams, or it can come in the fact that when you're having a dialogue with one of your friends and organically otters keep popping up into the conversation for one reason or another. It was just National Otter Day like 2 or 3 days ago. Who knew that they actually had an official national day?
I didn't know that.
You know, I have one friend, it's actually otters, that keep popping up in her Facebook feed and her Pinterest and her Instagram and like 3 different social medias that she uses for 3 very different reasons. So Pinterest she'll use for crocheting and knitting and other crafty sort of stuff. Facebook is to connect with friends and family, and then Instagram is for something completely different. But in every single social media, otters kept popping up.
Wow.
Me and a mutual friend of ours found that absolutely hilarious. So now every single time we see an otter, we're tagging her in it. And then we wonder why it's cluttering her feed because, you know, Facebook spies on you.
Yeah.
So you can ask and then listen to those signs. If you're down in the coulees and you see, you know, like a porcupine that you never would have seen, or, you know, it just kind of seems out of place. Not that a porcupine would be out of place in the coulees.
No, skunks.
Not a kitties.
Kitties.
But yeah, meditation I think is probably the most efficient way. But if you can't or don't know how or find it very difficult to reach a meditative state, go for a walk. Go for a walk. Ask who's with me. If you're listening, they will let you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You just have to
calm
be receptive
your mind and be aware of what's around you.
Yeah.
So here's a question, another one, obviously, because I'm the question lady tonight. Can you have more than one?
That depends on who you talk to.
Okay.
I do know that some indigenous cultures believe that you only have one power animal or one totem animal.
That kind of guides your life through
the
entire time.
And so for myself, I actually just recently found out that my clan animal is an elk.
Oh, nice.
This is not an animal that I've ever felt any sort of connection to. So to me, that's really interesting, and I want to learn more. I don't get to choose this. This is my family. My cousin's
so it's kind of
clan
like
is an elk.
Kind of like a family crest.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Other indigenous cultures believe that there's this power medicine wheel, and you've got above, below, left, right, within, and then the 5 elements for a total of 9 different power animals.
Oh, wow.
Or 9 different spirit animals, all of which come to you
when you need them?
When you need them, and for different reasons. So your left, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, is your feminine energy. And then your right would be your masculine. So each of those power animals, depending on where they fall on this medicine wheel, come to you for a very, very specific reason. Other people might believe, or they might believe that you have power animals that only come to you for specific parts of your life. So for a good part of my life, I really identified with an eagle, bald eagle specifically. And every single time I saw an eagle, I felt
a kinship,
divinity.
Nice.
And I still do now, but less so, because I think the guiding power animal that I have in my life right now is something completely different. At one point in my life, I did have a lioness as my power animal, and that was something that I would draw on and I'd say, hey, you know, like I'm losing my voice and I don't have that courage and I don't have that confidence to continue on with life. I need you. And then I would be, you know, filled with that courage and that confidence that she would give me. So again, it depends. It depends on who you're talking to and what you believe is right for you, right? Like, don't let anybody tell you can only have one power animal if you feel connected to more than one. Yeah. If you feel connected to more than one, then you feel connected to more, and nobody else can tell you that that's wrong or right. It's
right for you.
Yeah. So I think I've identified up to 6 of my power animals or my spirit guides so far.
Nice.
So really kind of curious to know kind of who else is going to
make an appearance on the stage of the Life of Liv.
And I mean, they really do make an appearance because I will generally get a tattoo of every single one of the animals that have called to me.
Nice. All right. So we're kind of close to the bottom of the hour, so I'm just going to do a shout out for those who are joining us right now. This is Sapa Speaks, the voice of the Southern Alberta Pagan Association. You can find us we're coming to you live from Jess FM, Jess TV and jessfm.ca. You can always find more videos from Jess FM on Facebook and YouTube. And tonight I'm here with Miss Liv. We're talking about spirit animals. So everybody's caught up now, right?
And since we are just kind of close to the bottom of the hour, I do kind of want to give a shout out to the people that are watching. We've got Breathin' Heathen, who's talking about familiars and how his power animal actually just came to him in a physical form just recently.
Oh, nice.
I've known him for about a year now. Breathin', not the animal. And he's always talked about his power animal, and he has a name. And then all of a sudden, through just a weird twist of fate, his animal is now living into his house, and such a beautiful, cute. I adore. His name is Slithera, and I don't necessarily like this particular animal, but I go over just to visit Slithera.
Now, is Slithera, that's the one that joined us for brewing, right? A couple weeks ago? Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful white little, I don't even know.
Corn snake.
Corn snake. Okay, I don't know snakes. I'm not a snake person.
Anna is saying meditation, some great video suggestions to listen to. I won't say them here on air, but if anybody is looking to meet their spirit animal, I think I did send them to Anna. Otherwise, why would she be making that suggestion? I do have some video suggestions that I've used on YouTube, so shoot me a message, and I'll be absolutely happy to help.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that Sapa is. It's one of our guiding forces, is a safe safe space so that we can talk and share.
And then Levi is watching. He really liked the otter day, so hi Levi.
Otters are so cute, cute little human things with their hands.
Yeah. I call my partner Otter, and that's a completely different story. But and then Randy's saying hi. So hi Randy, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, she made it. She's saying that her spirit animal is a magpie, a fox, and a falcon.
Oh, falcons are beautiful.
Yes.
Not so much magpie, but a crow, a different corvid. I'm trying to adopt as one of my friends, and I think it's working.
Oh yeah?
Actually, because my aunt came to visit me yesterday. I was doing homework on my front lawn, and she parked in my driveway and popped out just to say a quick hi, staying pretty much by her van. And the crow kind of swooped down and landed on my driveway and just kind of like sat on my driveway watching her. And I do know that crows in different corvids, if you can connect with a specific one, they will protect you and your house, which is really kind of interesting because I started adopting this crow when my kids are not home. So I'm kind of interested to see what would happen when my kids come home, because this crow is not going to know that my kids belong there. So should be fun.
I know for myself, I've developed an appreciation for magpies over the last couple of years because anybody who's caught my Monday night live that I was doing for mental health, we noticed this magpie who had a broken wing, and we named him Wright. And this is his 3rd or 4th year with a broken wing.
Because of the Wright brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yes, somebody who got it. Yay! Way to go. And just watching him adapt with this, like he has a disability, and he's just adapted. This is how life is, and he's become an inspiration to both me and my husband. So he can't fly, but like an air elemental, he can glide quite well.
Oh.
And he's learned how to hop up the trees to get to his nest, and then he'll glide, and his flock protects him, which I didn't know they did.
Oh yeah.
So in the last couple of years,
corvids
I've learned
are
so much.
Very territorial. Like I said, some crows will nosedive people who don't belong in that house. And I just started the adoption process.
Okay.
And I mean, let's face it, I'm not adopting the crow. The crow's going to adopt me. I'm just begging to be adopted here. But yeah, they're very protective, and they're very territorial. So the crows that are in my area, I know that those crows are the only crows that I'm going to see in my area, because
and
that's
their line.
Yeah.
That's where they go. They grow in this area. They're born in this area. They stay in that area.
Yeah,
and
the
same way.
Each year they will have like 1 or 2 kind of hatchlings, and they'll stick around for like 1 or 2 years. So you can have a murder of crows of up to like 6 or 7 or 8 that are all from the same family.
Nice.
So yeah, nice. Thank you, Randy, for kickstarting that conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think we got caught up on the comments. So
yeah, we did. Really good comments tonight.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
We love our interactive
if you guys
audience.
are commenting and we're not seeing it, it could be because you're watching in one of the groups that I shared it in. And we won't see that until after we log off and we go into those groups. So if you're wondering why we're not talking to you, actually click on the Jess FM live video and start commenting there. And I do kind of want to do a shout out. We did miss Sharon. So I really do appreciate that feedback, and I will try to do better with my language. So thank you, Sharon.
Right. So we were talking a little bit earlier in preparation for the show. Now, what is a shadow? You had mentioned that when we were talking. And
a shadow animal.
What is a shadow animal? Because I have my own view of what that would be, but
I want to know what you think a shadow animal is. As a person who hasn't done any of the research or readings, intuitively, what is a shadow animal?
I think that would be the dark aspects of that animal. So, I mean, where cat would be kind of like, helperton and cuddly and all that.
What kind of cats do you have? Can I borrow them? Because that's not my cat.
I don't know. I got a lot of scars from my little one. She's got little needles for freaking claws. Oh
respect the death claws.
Yes, respect the death claws. But so if you have a nice fluffy, one that's a cuddle bug,
right?
Then a shadow cat would be the fierceness, the ferocity, the I'm going to kick your butt.
You're kind of on the right track.
Kind of?
But not really.
Okay.
So I'm just going to throw out an example. And anybody who knows me or is on my Facebook feed will understand as soon as I say it. A spider is my shadow animal. So I have severe arachnophobia.
Okay.
I cannot control my reaction when a spider is crawling across my dashboard. I will pull over to the side of the road between Creston and Cranbrook and cry because I cannot get into my car because it's commandeered it. Severe arachnophobia. That is a lesson or the message that the spider is trying to give me. So for those who might not be aware, it's about perseverance and it's about patience. Because, shut up.
Sorry.
A spider works very diligently to create this beautiful masterpiece of a web. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't try to work harder or faster. It just works. It just is. It's there. It's about patience. It's about doing and not...
getting distracted?
Yeah.
Staying on task?
Yeah, it's kind of staying on task, but also just kind of accepting who you are. Mm-hmm. That's kind of, and creativity, because some of those webs are freaking beautiful.
Well, think of Charlotte's Web.
Right? Yeah, so elaborate and intricate and beautiful. Mm-hmm. And so creativity. Mm-hmm. That is a lesson I am resisting.
So they're more critters that come to you saying, you're resisting this, so I'm going to constantly have it in front of your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the shadow animal, and so it comes to you more based in a fear or a dislike, but you have to wonder, why do I keep seeing this? And I mean, lately I've been seeing a spider everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everywhere.
I found one in the shower yesterday.
Wasn't lying when I said that a spider commandeered me on my way home from Nelson between Creston and I was stuck in the middle of the highway, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I dreamt about a spider earlier that week.
Oh dear.
Huge one too, on my pillow.
Oh my.
And the front legs were just going like this. And I woke up, I knew it was a dream, but I woke up and my pillow had flown across the room somehow in the middle of the night. But even in my dream, I knew that it was a dream. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I hear you, I see you, I want to listen to your message, but you and I have an understanding that you give me my message over there. So go over there, as I threw the pillow. And it got too close. And actually for the rest of the night, it stayed on my pillow over there. And the arms just kept waving. It's like, I'm still here. Don't forget about me. Mm-hmm. I still have this message that you need to listen to. And it is something that, you know, you laughed, obviously, for a reason, because I lack patience.
Yeah.
I want to get shit done now.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
We want it done now. Done. So we can get to the fun things. We want to get the work done so we can do the fun things.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of what a shadow animal is.
Okay.
It kind of preys more on your fear and your dislike. So sorry. So yeah, and it's really kind of interesting because I think a lot of people, when they think about power animals and spirit animals and calling on the characteristics of a power animal, you think about the animals that you like, the ones that are drawn to. You know, for me, it's a wolf. You know, like it's just the ones that can't do any wrong in your eyes.
Yeah, they're the beautiful ones.
Yeah, the majestic.
The kitties, the puppies, the eagles, birdies.
Yeah, but you don't want to discredit those shadow animals as well, right? Because they have a very important lesson that you do need to hear.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that makes me think about maybe my husband's shadow animal. He's terrified of scorpions. Like, absolutely freaking terrified. That's what his nightmares are about.
Yeah.
Scorpions. And it makes me wonder now. Maybe it's a shadow animal trying to tell him something.
Well, and it's really interesting that you actually say that, because lately I've been checking my Facebook memories, as I do every morning, and at this time last year, I had gone on medication for depression and anxiety.
I remember that.
And I had made a post last year on this day about how I used to wake up in the middle of the night afraid I was going to step on a wolf spider.
Ooh, yeah.
I've seen a wolf spider maybe twice in my entire life, and I've never stepped on one. Why I would wake up at the middle of the night with that much anxiety that this is something that could happen? Well, I mean, if you take a look at where I was at this time last year, you know, I don't think I'd seen the inside of my house for like 3 or 4 days because I was constantly in meetings and committees and doing this and doing that and just trying to make everything happen without doing. Like I wasn't embracing that spider characteristic. So naturally it would,
You were
know,
all over the place.
yeah, I was very, yeah.
Okay.
Through fear and anxiety. So thanks so much, Mr. Spider. Didn't work.
Yeah, well, I guess it does come down to perspective. I mean, I know I talk about perspective a lot, but it's changing your perspective to look for the beauty, like intentionally look for the beauty of the spider, because the black widow is actually quite pretty.
Yeah.
Deadly as, you know, I'll get out, but
No, it totally is. Over there.
over there, please.
I try to, and I think, and this might be a little bit off topic from spirit animals, but I do believe in animism that every thing has a spirit. Every rock, every tree, every animal. So I try to have a very symbiotic relationship with the spiders, that you can be over there and I will try and listen to the message, but you have to stay outside of my house. If you come in my house,
You're paying rent.
like that's that in the form of your death. That's just it. I try to have an understanding, and my husband knows this understanding. So if a spider is in the house, he will take it outside. And I hear him tell it, you have to stay outside. She doesn't want you in the house, that kind of thing. If it comes back in the house, he's like, sorry, dude, I got no choice. So I try to respect all living beings, but they also have to respect my boundaries.
Yeah, that's understandable. So that kind of segues into, do the spirit animals, totems, power animals, do they have different personalities?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So your spirit animal. So, and I see a lot of the comments that are happening about how people have their spirit animals. But for a lot of people, they have one animal. That is their guide. Their guide has a voice. It has a name. It has a personality. And again, through meditation and just by asking, you can figure out what your spirit guide's name is, and have a conversation with it and figure out what its personality is. I mean, my spider spirit animal is a little cocky and sassy.
So it's kind of like developing a new friendship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You absolutely want to have a relationship with your spirit animals. Absolutely. Yeah. Because you're not going to get anything out of the relationship if you don't have that
symbiotic back and
reciprocal.
Forth. Yeah, reciprocal.
Yeah. So yeah, they absolutely. I think that they absolutely can have different personalities.
Yeah. So what about? I have it listed down as length of association. So what I was basically wondering is, do some of them stay longer than others? Do some only come for a short time? Do some travel with you your entire life?
Yes.
To which one?
All of it.
Oh, okay.
I do think that one of my spirit animals has been with me for longer than I've acknowledged. And then there's other ones that I forgot were even a part of my life. So as I'd mentioned, it was about 9-10 years ago now. A lioness was my power animal at that time. And it wasn't until just recently that I realized, you know what, I had a relationship with a lioness, and I can ask you for help. And it was a relationship that I'd kind of forgotten about, because at that point I'd found my voice, I'd found my courage, I'd found my confidence, that I didn't necessarily need that constant reminder of that relationship. And now I'm in a situation in my life where I'm like, no, I definitely need that confidence back, because imposter syndrome is a thing. It's very, very real, and I don't like it. So
I don't know what that is.
Imposter syndrome. Okay, so here's a
sure
bit of a tangent, because I think we've stayed very much on topic. Imposter syndrome is when you are entering a new situation in your life, and you don't feel like you belong.
Oh.
So
that actually has a name?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And everybody feels it. So you're not alone.
Okay, that's good to know.
I have just started my practicum in counseling psychology. I'm a master's student, and I'm at an amazing organization and it's teaching me so much, and I love my colleagues and I love my supervisor. But I go into work and I have my very own office for the first time in my life, and I sit down and I'm like, I'm not qualified to be here. I don't belong here. And this is something that I have experienced forever. When I first started my Master's of Counseling Psychology, my very, very first course, 2 years ago now, actually, coincides with the antidepressants, go figure, for the first 5 weeks. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not smart enough to get a master's degree. Are you kidding me?
So it's that extreme self-doubt.
Yeah, and then my professor in that very first class assigned us to read and do a forum post on the imposter syndrome. And I don't know how many people, actually I do know how many people, every single person is like, I didn't know this had a name. So yeah, the imposter syndrome is real. And where I'm at in my current situation, starting my practicum, 4 weeks in, I forgot that I need my lioness. So I've been calling on her a little bit more and saying, hey, you know what, come back, because I am woman and I need that. I need to find that voice. I need to find that roar again.
Yeah. And I have treats.
Yeah. The length of association, it absolutely.
So they can show up for a bit in your life and then disappear and then come back when you need them.
Yeah. And then in my research, most cultures, and my research and the readings that I've done, I've read about Welsh, I've read about Celtic, Indigenous, and even Chinese, Asian, Eastern cultures. Okay. Most of them will say that there is one overarching animal that is with you for your entire life. You can have little specklings that come through and kind of stay a while and then leave, come back after a while and then leave again, might not come back again, but for the most part, every single person does have that one animal that is always with you from birth to death and beyond.
So that could be considered like your soulmate spirit animal, kind of.
If we're getting into the
Like-
terminology, that would be your spirit guide.
Spirit guide.
Or
main
your
spirit.
totem.
Main spirit guide or totem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen people refer to that particular animal as both your spirit guide and your totem, and then your power animals.
Well, I guess it comes always down to what path you're following, what tradition.
Yeah.
And where you are in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're about 1:45. Wow, we've really stayed on topic tonight.
Look at us go!
Yeah.
Which means that now we have time for tangents.
Tangents and questions.
So yes, drop your questions.
Yes,
Please
definitely
know
drop your questions.
that there is probably about a 57-second lag, which is like stupid specific, and I don't spend that much time on Facebook that I know how specific.
57 seconds.
But there is a little bit of a lag, so once you post your comment, we might not see it. We won't see it for at least a minute. So if we're not getting to it right away, just be patient, and we will get to it. Becky, you're going through some of our questions.
I am. We don't have a whole bunch yet because we did just drop it. So, okay. So here's one from Anna. Do you have?
Hi, Shauna. Okay, go
Hi,
ahead.
Shauna. I did see you sneak in. I'm not ignoring you. Love you much. Anna asks, do you have to have a fear or dislike of a shadow animal? I can't think of anything that scares or bothers me.
Butterflies. Anna was on a show recently.
Okay.
Not recently. It was like months ago. Anna was one of our guests. And on our show, Anna shared how she once had a fear of butterflies, and she's getting better, I think, is the quote that she used. And Anna, please correct me if I'm wrong down here. But she's getting better, or it's not so much a fear, but I mean, butterflies have bothered you, my love. So
it could be
right, LOL.
A shadow animal can then therefore be any type of animal. It could be a cat if you have an issue with a cat.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just creepy crawlies. Okay.
No, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a phobia. Like for me, it's very much a phobia, probably because it's a lesson that I really need to listen to. But I mean, it can just be one of those animals that you're just like, ick. But beyond that, let me do a little bit more reading on it. I'll actually get back to you on a more in-depth answer on what a shadow animal is. But in my research, it is kind of those animals that you just kind of don't feel connected to, but keep coming back into your life.
She's saying it's a very old fear, and she got over it a long time ago.
And yet, when we were taking photos, she stayed far away from that butterfly.
I nearly suffocated on one in Montreal when I was young. That's definitely phobia starting worthy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any other. I see that Jessie kind of popped in, Jessie Amos. So thank you so much for popping in.
Yes.
Randy has a crow on her street with a broken wing.
Ew.
It's 2 years old. It's protected by its siblings. So going back to your magpie,
Yeah.
that was being protected. So yeah, I think we've hit most of the comments. So thank you so much for all of that interaction. We do have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me what is going on with SAPA?
SAPA, well, what do we got going on this weekend? Because we've been having such great success with our virtual brewing, we're doing another one on Saturday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so we're going to do it on Zoom again.
Okay.
And it's bring your own whatever, because we can't really get together.
Bring a bottle of wine. Don't put it down.
Yes.
Olivia lost an entire bottle of wine at the last Brewing with Witches. Not really sure how that happened. Thank goodness I'm pretty. Let's just say that. And then it just became a running joke for the rest of the night. Oh, she put it down. Let's take bets on when she loses it. And I mean, not funny. So that's on Saturday. How do I get the code?
Well, you have to mark either RSVP or mark that you're going, and then about an hour before it starts, so it starts at 3, so around 2-ish, I'll be sending out the codes, and it is on the Zoom platform, so either download the app on your smartphone, device, whatever, or go to zoom.com.
Okay.
And go to join meeting.
Okay.
And then you'll get with the codes, you'll put in the meeting number as well as the password, and you'll join us.
So for those people who might be a little bit cautious, because our last Brewing with Witches had 10 people.
That was a pretty big one.
And it was especially for being online.
Yes.
Now I know that I have social anxiety, and I don't necessarily like people. They scary.
Yes, people can be scary.
So is there, what would you say
we
for
usually
those people?
do open up. So if you are a little nervous, feel free to reach out to any one of us. We can have a quick chat beforehand or any time before the show or the coffee group. And we usually open up the room about 15-20 minutes early, so if you want to come in and have a quick chat with us then, and then just mute your mic and turn off your camera and just kind of skulk in the background, you're totally allowed to do that. And then if you want to say something, you can go, hey.
Okay.
It's really casual. It is our meet and greet, so this is a way so that you can reach out and you can meet others, and it's always a safe space. We really don't tolerate any negativity, like hate and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's all about, love and safe spot and reaching out to others.
And for our last Brewing with Witches, we did have somebody that popped in for 20-30 minutes, and then she had to go and do her kind of thing. So she's just like, hey, I'm out, see you later. We did have somebody, she was working at the time, so she popped in during her half-an-hour lunch break. Was able to say hi, and then popped right back out, but that was like right at the height of the meeting. So there was like 10, 11 people at that point when she popped on. And then near the tail end of the meeting, we had 2 extra people that just kind of joined in. At that point, we'd had 5 people already leave, so it was a smaller group. So there's definitely opportunities if you're nervous. Again, reach out to either Becca or myself, or even the Southern Alberta Pagan Association page on Facebook, SAPA Official. And one of the board members can even make a point of logging into that Zoom meeting about a half an hour early. Then that way it's a one-on-one coffee date. When people start logging on, you're like, okay, this is too much, gotta go. Nobody's going to judge for that. If you can only pop in for half an hour, pop in for half an hour.
If you want to stay for the entire 2 hours, stay the 2 hours.
And I think you and I were speaking for another hour and a half after that.
More like 2.5.
I don't know. I had 3 bottles of wine at that point.
We talked until I had to go pick up the husband at 10, just after 10 o'clock. We finally hung up.
Yeah,
so
and then I had more, wine, and did not get to sleep. And now I remember why I don't drink that much wine.
You forgot to drink water, didn't you?
I did, and they even said as they were ending the Brewing with Witches, "Liv, go drink water." And I'm like, by water, do you mean 2 more bottles of wine? And I'm not lying. They were like full 750 milliliter bottles of wine. So yes, reach out to us. We are more than happy to connect with you so that you can feel a little bit more comfortable, because the board members that you do see might be a little bit loud and boisterous. And not gonna lie, Becca, you're scary for people who don't know you.
Am I?
Maybe.
I gotta be honest. I have had people tell me that in the past, that I am very intimidating, and I'm seriously sitting here going, how am I intimidating?
And you're just like, oh my God, new people. I want to meet new people. And I'm the same way, right? Like, I'm just like, ooh, come talk to me. And I might put you on the spot. So if I do apologize. If you're kind of wanting to sulk in the corner and I'm just like, hey, talk to me. I do apologize. But yes, the board members that you see, we are loud and boisterous, but there are opportunities for you to meet new people without having to.
Kind of ironic, because had you all met me like 10 years ago.
Oh, I'm severely introverted.
Oh, yeah. Well, even 10 years ago, I was like the queen wallflower. You didn't know I was there unless I wanted to let you know.
Well, you're still like that during Brewing with Witches. It's actually kind of fun to watch you observe. I observe her observing.
And I observe you observing me, observing everything.
So, yes. Our point is reach out to us if you're feeling nervous or just kind of want to get to know new people without having to come to a Brewing with Witches. And if you realize an hour late, it started at 3 o'clock and it's now 4 o'clock. Still okay.
Come.
We're still here.
Yes, we're still here. Yes, Shauna, I did use some of your questions. You just got here too late. Okay? Just saying. She's off hunting houses.
Oh.
I asked her earlier.
Oh, fun.
I told her earlier when she told me she was hunting houses tonight that, they can tend to be rather elusive, those houses, make sure you use the right bait. Because, you know, I'm kind of an ass.
As in smart ass.
Oh, yes.
So here we have Breathe and Heathen.
Yes, I just saw that.
Being a little bit on the ball.
Yes.
Chill out, like 2 minutes.
Like slow your roll, dude.
Okay, like we're there. It's on our list. We have a list, and it's there.
Yes, and we still have 5 minutes. So.
I mean, maybe the spider needs to come to you and tell you about patience. I'm just kidding. I love you.
Was there anything else we wanted to say about brewing before we move on to our next announcement?
Come to brewing.
Yes.
If you're nervous, reach out.
Yes.
We'll make sure that you're not nervous.
Yes. And don't forget, you do need to click either RSVP or going so you get the code.
Interested or going?
Interested or going.
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't, we won't send you the code.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry. Click interested or going, or even message one of us.
Yeah.
And
I hope you can make it, because the last couple times have been freaking awesome.
And you don't have to get dressed above your waist.
You just have to look pretty from here up.
Right? So I mean, like, at least you don't have to get dressed and go out. So yes, that's what we have to say about brewing.
Okay.
Before
Yes.
Breathing gets too impatient, go to the next
I
one.
can see him like just wiggling in his chair at home right now. Like the little kitty.
Right?
The kitty meme.
Or the duck.
Yes. Okay, so for those who don't know, Southern Alberta Pagan Association is doing an auction right now. We're collecting donations from everyone. We have 2 drop-off locations, one on the south side, one on the west side. And we're collecting items until Sunday. Wow, that went fast.
So fast.
So fast.
I do want to do a special shout out to those who have already donated.
Yes.
Or who will be donating. I do know that we do have a couple people that I have to connect with. You know, and it is really greatly appreciated. You know, a huge thank you. We couldn't do what we're doing without the people that we're serving. So a huge thank you to our community for dropping off those donations. If for whatever reason you cannot drop off, reach out. I'm not promising that we can do pickups, but we are trying to be as accommodating as possible. So if you don't drive, or you do want to donate, and you feel like you just can't make it to either the south or the west side, just reach out to us. And if we need to pick up, then we do. We obviously prefer drop-offs because I don't want to be driving all over God's green earth. There's a spider somewhere in that car. I never did find it. So reach out to us, and we will try to accommodate. Yes. But if you're on the south or the west side, we're not posting our addresses for obvious reasons. But just let us know you have something that you want to drop off, and we will let you know the most convenient spot. Yes. And then so we're getting those donations.
We are getting those donations,
and I'm really apprecitive of that. And we've got 2 minutes, but tell me how and what happens to those donations now.
Well, once we collect all the donations, I'm going to take them all over to a friend of mine who actually does auctions on the Lethbridge area Crazy Auction Group. Okay. She's kind of like a professional. She does this all the time. This is her side gig. Okay. So she has graciously agreed to be our auctioneer for this. Oh. Yes. So she is going to be posting the items. We're going to kick it off in SAPA community to start, so we all get, first dibs at the good stuff. So for those of us who are maybe watching on Jess FM or who follow our page, what is the SAPA community? SAPA community is a group on Facebook. Okay. That's where we're going to be doing we post a lot of things. So if you're not in the group, get in the group. Yeah, if you're not in the group. And if you're in the group and you're not seeing the posts, turn on notifications. Yes. We are starting this on Monday. Yes, we are. Those donations are going to be for 2 weeks within the group. And then after that, they're going into the Lethbridge area Crazy Auction Group. And so our community will get first dibs. Yes. And we're taking donations of all kinds. Yes. So it's not going to just be pagan witchy stuff. Although that is greatly accepted because... Oh, absolutely. I like seeing what everybody has. I want more crystals. Right? There's no such thing as too many crystals. Yes. There's no such thing. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so find us on Facebook or SAPA Official, or search Southern Alberta Pagan Association. Get into our group. And if you want to join our Brewing with Witches, click on the event, or even just reach out to the page and one of us will
get to your message.
And the post for brewing is on SAP Official as well as the community, is it not?
As well as Witches of Canada and Pagans Across Canada,
Yeah, so-
and I've posted it everywhere. So
So it's all the places. So wherever you're from, just click that you're going or interested, and we'll get you the codes, and you can join us. Because maybe we'll be expanding past Lethbridge.
yes, and I will hold on to my wine.
Yes.
Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I will see you all next week.